completely bat crap crazy. It is quite clear to me, and we're going to have, I think, MEHDI on at the end of the week to talk about this because I'm very curious about this. But based upon what his claims were, it's quite clear to me that he presumed he was going to be talking to people who would defend some of the most extreme things that Donald Trump has done. And I don't think that he was aware, and I find it very, very hard to believe that, well, I know he couldn't have been aware unless something was dramatically different in the way they put this together.
He says at the end of the video, he's arguing with a guy, and he goes, I was told far-right conservatives, not fascists.
Yeah. And I find it hard to believe that Jubilee didn't know what they were doing here. I want to reserve judgment till we get an opportunity to talk to him before I start using terms like sandbag. But the flip side of that is that MEHDI's a very difficult person to sandbag.
Exactly.
But here is one of the fascists that he sat down with. And I want to be clear, that's not hyperbole.
Right. You're not insulting the Trump supporters so much so that they're never, ever going to appreciate left-wing ideas ever again by calling them a fascist, being so mean to them. They actually, this guy says it outright.
Oh, yeah. And this guy says, no, I'm actually more fascist than Trump. He's not fascist enough for me. But understand, the context and the promotion that got us Trump, you don't like get to rein that in. That doesn't, when you start this ball rolling, you don't get to control like, oh, okay, well, we've been promoting fascistic roll-up immigrants, demonize them, demonize black people, demonize women, demonize any policies that make sure that if you're working at an agency that you're not discriminated against. And we're able to land this plane on a dime. No, a lot of times what happens is you miss the runway. And here's a guy who clearly is a product of that.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you, sir.
MEHDI, lovely to meet you.
So I would say that with Trump being anti-Constitution, I don't really care, to be quite frankly.
Okay.
Because in regards...
All right, pause it. I just want to note that, you know, MEHDI goes in there and goes like, oh, well, these are going to be conservatives who, you know, have some type of rigid notion of the founding fathers and the Constitution and patriotism and whatnot. And this guy says, I don't care if Trump follows the Constitution, and fully half the room clap.
And he had that Stephen Miller joy in his face when they clapped, too.
Totally.
Yeah.
Really care, to be quite frankly.
Okay.
Because in regards to the Constitution is a document that should seek to serve us.
Yes.
And when it fails to seek to serve us, that can be amended. Laws can be changed. And quite frankly, the fact is, we're defending things in this country that shouldn't be defended. The First Amendment should not defend pornography and making children and women be victimized. Making women and children be victimized as a result of that. I think things like blasphemy shouldn't be allowed per the First Amendment. I think that, quite frankly, there are a lot of legal processes that are enabling criminals and bad.
Wait a second. Blasphemy.
That's so funny.
And now we're going to find out that this guy is a hardcore Catholic.
God wearing a bra. I just broke the law.
Well, what is it? What did you say?
I said God wearing a bra.
Blasphemy. I mean,
Lock him up.
Also, I mean, where do we, like, Earth is not the center of the universe. Cuff me. Right? Like,
I mean,
people like, well, how far back are we going now?
To me, this seems like
Jesus
a guy.
Christ, calm down.
Yeah. This is a Nick Fuentes
get in
viewer,
trouble.
right?
Yes,
like
yes, literally.
Fuentes has been increasing his footprint to the right of Trump and basically saying that Republicans now are not committed enough to the white nationalist project, basically. So this is where this is the waters this guy seems to be swimming in.
Add people to fully enact their will in this country in the name of the Constitution or following the Constitution. So, quite frankly, if Trump is anti-Constitution, good. And I think he should go further.
So this is wonderfully revealing of the modern conservative mindset. So I appreciate you spelling it out so openly. Just checking, do you support the Second Amendment?
I do.
Okay, surprise, I was shocked to hear that. I'm saying that Donald Trump is defying the First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, the 14th Amendment. He's thinking of defying the 12th and 22nd Amendments. You're saying you don't care about the Constitution, but actually you do because you quite like the Second Amendment. You just don't like the bits that you disagree with. Can I just be clear on that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm more than willing to amend it and include
Whenever
the
it's in
Second
your
Amendment.
favor.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
So can Democrats do the same when they're in office?
No, absolutely not. Because
you don't
it's the
believe in
friend enemy.
democracy?
No, I don't. Absolutely not.
What do you believe in?
Autocracy.
By who?
Honestly, quite frankly, anyone who is in line with Catholic teaching.
There you go.
Donald Trump is not Catholic.
Pause it,
Of
pause
course,
it, pause
he's
it,
not.
pause it, pause it. Now, first of all, the people clapping around him, they want a Catholic autocracy. I will say that, like, it's very easy to be not in that moment and have a response. But at that point, like, you know, and you're in MEHDI's shoes, and of course you want to tease this out because it's important for people to understand what's going on in these like sort of, you know, dark corners of the internet, maybe not so, you know, cornery anymore.
Yeah.
But I think there's also value in going like, well, then get the fuck out of here. Like, what am I debating you for? This is not, I'll see you on the street. This is not, there's no debate here with somebody who wants an autocracy. There's no debate here where, like, all you're looking for is to control and dominate through no processes of law, but rather your religious figure, get out. Now,
Also, you're stupid.
well, aside from being, you know, a moron and all that stuff, it's also very difficult in that situation. If you're obviously MEHDI's like, what's going on here? Well, why am I debating somebody about this? This is not within the realm of policy, of democracy, of anything that is relevant. You might as well put in, like, you know, somebody who, I don't know, wants to talk about the best recipe for canopies.
Well, he says, I believe in autocracy. So then the entire notion of debate is moot because you believe in something that is not about democratic input or the exchange of ideas. You believe in something that is a power, top-down, authoritarian government. So then what is the whole point of debate? And this is, for me, anyone, I don't know, I don't understand the critiques of MEHDI here, but I do think that Jubilee is doing something where they're essentially laundering more and more far-right kind of people into what is considered a political debate and discourse space because it's more inflammatory the more fascistic you get. And I don't know, MEHDI is somebody who's probably experienced a lot of xenophobia and racism himself. And it seemed like the crop of people that they picked to debate him in particular had more abhorrent views.
Oh, I got news for you. He not only has faced it probably generally in this program.
Oh, I know.
Was specifically told to get out.
Right.
Because he's an immigrant.
Right.
I will say that, like, I don't think I would ever do the Jubilee thing again, but if there was a similar type of situation, I would not sign my consent form until after. You know, I'll say, we'll sign the consent form an hour into this.
Yeah.
When I'm clear about
Can I
it.
just make a point on Catholicism? I was raised Catholic, went to church every weekend. 25% of Americans were Catholic in 2007. Now it's at 19% because most people see the people that stick around and are enthusiastic partisans of it, like this guy, as absolute freaks that are alienating to most normal people.
Good.
Do the same when they're in office.
No, absolutely not. Because
So you don't
it's the
believe in
friend enemy.
democracy?
No, I don't. Absolutely not.
What do you believe in?
Autocracy.
By who?
Honestly, quite frankly, anyone who is in line with Catholic teaching.
Donald Trump is not Catholic.
Of course, he's not. I completely agree,
So
and
you
that's part of
support
the problem.
Trump? You don't support Trump?
No, I don't. I didn't even vote for him. I wrote in like John Pork or someone. I can't even remember.
Why did you vote if you don't believe in democracy and you want autocracy?
Well, because quite frankly, I voted. I kind of voted just to
I came with this
troll a little
argument, but
bit,
I'm bored of my own argument. I'm much more interested in this. So
Yeah, absolutely.
How do we get to an autocracy?
I think, quite frankly, that if we are able to enact local
Who
leaders,
is the we,
or-
by the way?
I think, quite frankly, these far-right conservatives sitting right around
White
me.
people?
Yeah,
No
absolutely.
problem. So,
Well,
some of
actually,
you guys,
I have quite.
some of the people
I
in this
have
room
quite-
don't make the cut
No,
from what I can see
actually,
visually.
Actually,
Okay.
hold on for a moment. I do think that there are people who happen to not be white who do actually have history in this country and have roots in this country. For instance, from the Mexican-American War, we subsumed a lot of territory of people who have far stakes in this country who happen to be Hispanic or what have you.
Okay.
I'm for defending the traditional demographics of this country, which is majority white, and it should stay that
How
way.
does the United States, I mean, we've gone so off topic, but how does the United States look like under you? So what's your name?
My name is, my name's Connor. It's a pleasure
Wait,
to meet
what
you.
was
Took a little bit of a doubt there.
Oh, well,
Hang on.
I use
Connor-
a pseudonym online.
Fair enough.
But
Connor.
fair enough.
Why?
How would Connor's America look? What would it look like?
Why do you use a pseudonym online?
Well, he's his big coming out party.
And now, I mean, just say your last name. Reveal it for all. Reveal your employer while
I
you're
think
at it.
people are already know. I would imagine online
Yeah,
right
I'm looking
now.
it up now.
This guy's decided. I mean, there's a lot of Curtis Yarvin in this. I don't know about the Catholicism is sort of laid over it, but go ahead.
Well, quite frankly, I think we would deport people who shouldn't be here.
I didn't ask about
whether-
deporting. What does the government look like?
What does the government look like?
Yeah.
I would say, quite frankly, it's under a sort of benevolent leader, such as
Where does he come
Franco.
from?
It could be a kind of aristocratic class. Could be someone
Well,
who,
let's fix the autocrat.
frankly, the people. I mean, we could hold a vote on it. Kings were
Isn't
paid.
that democracy?
Well, sure. You can have a vote to get to that stage.
And then no more votes afterwards.
Absolutely.
Wow.
100%.
Wow. And if that autocrat
Can I say, like, what's the aristocratic class we just call upon now to, is it the Trumps?
Or he says no. I mean, maybe it would be J.D. Vance or some sort of Catholic, or maybe it's the whole Opus Dei.
Pretty
kind
recent
of-
Catholic. J.D.
Yeah,
Vance,
but
like-
he doesn't seem to care about like the past two popes and their teachings about Catholicism and like humanity and how to treat people. So why would you think he would care about anything except the hierarchy piece of it, which is like that's basically all it is here, right?
But isn't the Pope the head of the hierarchy for the Catholics? I mean,
But they
I
think he's
thought
the
Let's
so.
put the Pope in charge.
Antichrist, right?
It could be a kind of aristocratic class. Could be someone
who
who,
picks the autocrat?
frankly, the people. I mean, we could hold a vote on it. Kings were
Isn't
paid.
that democracy?
Well, sure. You can have a vote to get to that
And
stage.
then no more votes afterwards.
Absolutely.
Wow.
100%.
Wow. And if that autocrat kills you and your family, you're fine with that?
Well, I'm not going to be a part of the group that he kills because
How do you
that's the
know?
whole thing.
How do you know?
Carl Schmitt
Autocrats tend to kill everyone,
Carl
even their own
Schmitt makes
supporters.
this point very well in his work. It's the friend-enemy distinction, right? You
Carl
liberals,
Schmitt, the Nazi theoretician.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't care.
Are you a fan of
ca-
the Nazis?
I don't care. I frankly don't care being called a Nazi at
I didn't
all.
say that. I
Doesn't
didn't
matter
actually
to
say
me.
that. I said, are you a fan of the Nazis?
Well, they persecuted the church a little bit. I'm not a fan of that. But
What about the
you know,
persecution of the Jews?
Well, I mean, I certainly don't support anyone's human dignity being assaulted. I'm a Catholic.
But you don't condemn Nazi persecution of the Jews?
I think that there was a little bit of persecution and
We
stuff
may
like
have
that,
to
which is
rename
bad.
this show
but-
because you're a little bit
a tiny bit of persecution. A little bit. Just a little bit.
Wow, how magnanimous.
Nothing like what's happening to white people in this country, though.
How un-American is it to talk about wanting to like cement an aristocratic class that rules over us, as opposed to having some sort of democratic representation? Like, I mean,
Or even Republican.
just replace the stars and stripes and like have this little freak an artistic depiction of him licking a boot, and then we have a better interpretation of what this ideology is.
Franco also, I don't know, benevolent?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that's when you're talking about a king like you are, like a little bit of a little bootlicker, a little, somebody that submits to authority and just rolls over and says, "Rub my belly, daddy." Then that's the kind of like thing you would throw out there about the authoritarian leader, that he's so benevolent, so kind, what he gives to us.
But you don't condemn Nazi persecution of the Jews?
I think that there was a little bit of persecution.
We
and stuff
may
like
have
that,
to
which is
rename the
bad,
show
but-
because you're a little bit more than a far-right Republican.
Hey, what can I say?
I think you can say, I'm a fascist.
Yeah, I am.
Tucker Carlson laugh.
Absolutely.
I'm just checking who's clapping. Just
I just want to get that laugh one more time. The Tucker Carlson sort of explosion of fascist
The alpha
delight.
males are back.
Yeah, this is how to get women, is to laugh like this.
I think you can say, I'm a fascist.
Yeah, I am. Absolutely.
I'm just checking who's clapping just to get my set of where everyone
Because
is on this.
in
Because you know
during-
that millions of people are going to be watching you on YouTube and checking out
Yeah,
who the fascists and the
absolutely.
Nazis are.
I'm not ashamed of that whatsoever.
clearly you're not.
During the
Clearly you're not.
During the pre-war period, prior to World War II, it was only those parties that properly enacted the people's will. That's why they won. The conservatives were fat cats.
Are you
they were
in favor
aristocrats.
of,
They didn't care.
of killing people who aren't like you?
Quite frankly, I'm not. If
You mentioned
they-
Franco earlier. Franco killed a lot of innocent people.
Oh, well, he killed communists. He killed people who raped nuns and killed priests.
What about children who he killed and women who he killed?
What are you talking about? He never killed any women or children. He was Catholic,
He only
dude.
killed combatants. Is that what you're
Yeah,
claiming?
he only killed combatants.
Never killed any innocent people.
The white terror was only punishing those people who did acts of terrorism. And again, are you supporting like raping innocent women? Nuns, dude. Killing priests? I mean, priests don't brandish guns and kill
You
people.
just refuse to condemn the Nazi Holocaust, my friend. I don't think you're in a position to ask anyone any questions.
I quite frankly don't care what you think about me. If I'm a Nazi
And
and
the
being a
feeling
Nazi,
is mutual, so-
and being a Nazi means upholding human
kinda
dignity, because I even believe in your dignity. I don't in a state that I was
with the
running.
greatest of
I wouldn't
respect,
want to hurt
I
you
don't
or
debate.
anything like that. But
What are we
quite
doing
frankly,
here? I don't debate fascists.
okay. So do you concede then? I mean, why
Do I concede you're a fascist who won't condemn the Nazis?
Yeah.
Yes, I concede that.
Okay, great. So I mean, what are we doing here? Because I mean, you
don't
just seem
know what
offended.
you're doing here,
You
to be
just seem
honest.
offended, to be quite frankly. Like,
I'm offended by people who can't condemn the Nazis. Yes, I am.
okay. Well, I condemn the evils that they did, but I don't really
Against
care
the
about
Jews?
being. Yeah, sure. I don't care about
whatever.
being called a
Yeah,
Nazi.
sure.
Is the whole thing.
I never called you a
I
Nazi.
care
You
about
called
doing
yourself
the right
a Nazi,
thing.
a fascist, and a General Franco
Well,
supporter.
yeah, I am a General Franco supporter. He was awesome. He was so super cool, quite frankly. Because the whole
Great.
And you
thing-
don't believe in
I'm
democracy.
sorry. Can we
I
just
don't
pause
believe in
it for
democracy.
a second? Because it's just amazing how he like uses even the words like terrorist. He kills terrorists. This very modern language and the usage of human dignity, where we're seeing like terms that are meant to kind of accurately describe how powerful nations or colonialism or how imperialism has affected primarily people in the global south, like the white genocide, were being ethnically cleansed from the United States, how easily the fascists reappropriate that language to make themselves into victims as opposed to the aggressors. And he's doing so retroactively with fascist European regimes and talking about like, oh, they were raping nuns, so this is why Franco's repression and slaughter was justified. Like, we hear this exact language by the Israelis right now because it's about language about Western domination and imperialism over largely like the black and brown global South. That's what it is.
I mean, it's all part and parcel of the fascist playbook too, though. I mean, like the idea that you have an inner cancer and we're under threat.
But using the modern 21st century fascist language to talk ahistorically about European fascism is like a way that the online right is trying to galvanize on current events to make like what was passed in the past rightly beyond the scope of acceptable political thought somehow enveloped in it there too. And Jubilee's doing that as well. That's the clip I saw from the promo that we played. I hadn't seen more of that, but they're leading with that because he's doing the most inflammatory argument that he can to get as many clicks. And this is where techno-fascism is, and on social media is like continuing to expand its reach, is that the more inflammatory the statement is, the more that the algorithms circulate it. So Jubilee knows this, and that's why they're continuing to book people who are further and further right, to the point where that guy just took on Fuentes' affect. He's just Fuentes without being Fuentes.
Steve Austin says, do you think Connor from Jubilee is presenting as real, or do you think he's acting a role for the camera? Listening to these clips through the MR app, I get the phony paid to perform faux reality TV vibes. No, I first of all, I don't think there is really a meaningful distinction. I think this guy believes what he's saying. And really, frankly, I mean, the idea that this guy's sitting there is, I don't believe that Jubilee did not have the ability to vet this guy. Okay? I don't know what they're saying about it, but there is no reasonable idea as to why you would put this guy up here debating MEHDI, because he's not debating MEHDI.
Yeah.
He's not even remotely close. I mean, in my instance, I accepted the idea like, okay, they didn't know that woman would be so xenophobic. They didn't know that this guy was a fundamentalist who would, fundamentally accept the premise that he wants a theocracy. I can buy that. But there's nothing. There's nothing in the claims that MEHDI has off, which they know about for weeks in advance. Like they worked with me on my contentions. I assume they did the same thing with MEHDI. We can ask him at the end of the week when he comes on. But this is bullshit. This is Jubilee just putting this guy on there for a show and really undercuts their supposed premise of trying to provide debates on these issues. Like, look, everything is clickbaity, of course. But if you're going to tell the person that you've invited on that this is going to be a debate about this, and you put somebody on who you know is not going to have that debate, they could have had somebody on there going like, MEHDI says, the claim is that Trump is hurting the Constitution. They go, well, when you're baking a cake, you should use unenriched flour. That's my big contention. Now, of course, they do that. Everybody would be like, oh, well, what's going on here? And it wouldn't get the clicks. But it really is fundamentally the same thing, where this person's just going like, would you use 3 eggs or 2 eggs? Because what this guy's talking about is outside the realm of these kind of politics. And you could set up a debate where someone says, I believe in democracy versus living under a religious despot, and then maybe have that debate if someone agrees to do it. But this is, I think,
I mean, yeah. How is this different than like Jerry Springer bringing on members of the Ku Klux Klan and then black people and just saying, go at it? Except if the black person was brought there under like a kind of false premise, essentially. Like,
well, that's the point.
I mean, there's more than a heavy dose of racism here, it seems like, in the treatment of Mehdi Hasan.
I'll just say 2 weeks ago, Jubilee did a debate between anorexic people and obese people. So,
I mean, if people know that's what they're signing up for, I mean, look, it's not something I would watch. But if people know that's what they're signing up for, that's one thing. And I think, listen, I do think that there is value in letting people understand, like who these movements are, what they support, how they operate. I do think there's value to that. And I do think that there's value in exposing them. And I do think there's a danger in, their platforming. But at the end of the day, like I remember for 25 years, people were like, don't give Rush Limbaugh any attention. Okay. But over time, that lack of attention let him have a lot of time to build an audience where he became much, much bigger.
Yeah.
So these things are important to expose so that there's an opportunity to frankly stamp out these ideas.
I could just do a note on the what he said about the white terror. I appreciate him using that word. George Orwell, who fought against Franco's forces in Spain, had this to say on looking back on the Spanish War. Although it has ceased to be fashionable to say so, there's little question that one what one may call the whites commit far more worse atrocities than the quote reds. There is not the slightest doubt, for instance, about the behavior of the Japanese in China, nor is there much doubt about the long tail of fascist outrages during the last 10 years of Europe. That's from George Orwell, who saw it firsthand. I don't know what this guy's been doing besides, I guess, shopping for button-downs.
All right, let's just play this out a little bit more.
I condemn the evils that they did, but I don't really
Against
care
the
about
Jews?
being. Yeah, sure. I don't care though about being called a Nazi.
Sure.
Is the whole thing.
I never called you a
I
Nazi.
care
You
about
called
doing
yourself
the right
a Nazi,
thing.
a fascist, and a General Franco
Well,
supporter.
yeah, I am a General Franco supporter. He was awesome. He was so super cool, quite frankly. Because the whole
And you
thing,
don't believe in democracy.
I don't believe in
What are
democracy.
you doing here at a televised debate? This is democracy. Don't want to debate and disagree.
Because it is the means to support an end. The reason we have free speech now is because we want to be openly talking about our opinions so we can get the state that we want. But it doesn't mean upholding
great.
free speech after we win. Again, I mentioned
the only good thing about this fascist moment
the
we're in
whole
is
reason
that you guys are so open about it.
The whole
It's great.
reason
Say the quiet part loud. Keep saying it.
reason I mentioned Carl Schmitt earlier, you kind of blew past him, is the friend-enemy distinction.
past him because of the Nazi
even
point.
liberals, when they take power, they want to enact policies and they want to enact protections for their people and their ideas, and they're willing to punish their enemy. And so I'm the same way. I'm like, hey, if you're going to punish me, I'm going to get in power, and I'm going to frankly punish you when you try to leverage power against me. Just that simple.
I'm not sure what you want to say.
Hey, it is what it is.
All right. Pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
How is that dude being punished? How's that dude, in what way is that dude being punished by society?
Well, his.
I mean,
Instagram
I
is-
hope that he gets a ton of disdain online. But how is society structured that he and his ilk are being punished? I mean, they're not.
No, his Instagram is promoted on the link to the YouTube. The links to all these guys are. Every single one of them have the links in. Go follow them. 70,000 Instagram followers.
The arc of history does not bend passively towards justice. It involves ruining this ideology and making it once again unacceptable for freaks like that to say these things in public. But that's not the moment we're in right now.
And understand, this is the, this guy's the sort of like seedling that grows under the ultraviolet light of guys like Stephen Miller.
Yeah, right.
I mean, where would Miller and this guy disagree?
Even if Trump had no
Catholicism.
policy like success, and he is unfortunately doing a good job of building concentration camps and terrorizing Latino people and cracking down on free speech and robbing the government and destroying the Constitution. But even if he didn't do any of that, just the nature of the cruelty of the campaign that he ran and it being legitimized is something that gives rise to some of, and in the absence of a strong opposition party, frankly, it gives the rise to this kind of thought being more acceptable. It has a corrosive nature on like how we treat each other in addition to all of the systemic ailments.
So this guy's a vision of fascism. I mean, he's really worked it out. We're going to have an election for a benevolent dictator. And I guess the people would run on the, with mottos like, I'm super benevolent, or I'm going to be more benevolent. Or if you look back on my history of benevolence, you can see that I'm going to be a great benevolent dictator.
Remember the friend-enemy distinction as disclosed by Carl Schmitt.
And also, I will tell you, I will promise you, as I travel this country and I talk to farmers and teachers and nurses about who will be the most benevolent dictator, I can assure you, while those potential dictators have the bad attributes of lying, like many dictators and authoritarians, I don't. So when I say that I'm going to be benevolent, I mean it. My benevolence. Look
Trust me.
Look at my family. Family, tell them how benevolent I am to them. too. Like, what? Like, first of all, just on its own terms, this is the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Okay? How benevolent did those non-Jews in Dresden feel that Adolf Hitler was to them? Super benevolent. I'm going to make sure that the firebomb's you're not going to feel a thing for more than a couple of seconds. Like, what dictators? Show me the example of the benevolent authoritarian that worked out well for everybody.
Well, he promises to be the father of the country, the good father this time.
Why did he keep saying "quite frankly" so much? Is that another thing about loving Francisco Franco that you can't stop saying?
I think it's just a nervous tick because this guy's got the opportunity to say this to somebody, you know, and it's his coming out thing. Like, he's ready to come out.
Just literal geek.
And I would say that, like, you know, this is a great example of why canceling is good. This is like, there should be social pressure. As what's his you know, his hero would say, friend enemy distinction.
And that's also why he can't, he says, he does an us versus them construction too, where, you know, when he doesn't conceive of the idea that when MEHDI says he could turn on you and kill you.
Oh, no, he
because
won't.
It's explicitly a white nationalist.
And I can trust him. Believe me, I have my benevolence-o-meter, and I can assess whether this is going to be a really benevolent dictator or just a sometimes benevolent dictator.
Any Catholics ground up by Franco were woke ones, so who cares?
Exactly.
Our fascists are such weird losers too. I mean, I guess they've always been that way.
Yeah, they've always looked like that.
I would love that election that he wants to run to get that benevolent Catholic dictator, and then what? It turns out it's Sharia law.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. What's the name?
Missed it by that much.
What's the name of Gilderan's the Nerd Reich?
Yeah,
that's that guy.
Absolute benevolence corrupts benevolently.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.